The story begins with a man named Philly, along with Knox and Parker, who have broken into a racetrack counting room to pull off a robbery. Behind the counting room, an employee suddenly arrives with his family and notices a few unfamiliar vehicles parked outside. Realizing that a heist is happening inside, he decides not to call the police but instead grabs a gun and declares that he will rob the robbers. Without hesitation, he bursts outside, opens fire on Parker's crew, grabs a bag of cash, and speeds away. Parker quickly chases after him as the man drives straight onto the horse racetrack. Horses slam into his vehicle, and Parker dodges between the galloping animals while they leap over the car. Parker shoots the man, retrieves his money, and leaves a small trace behind before escaping. Later, Parker and his team reach a safe house where Knox lies dead and Philly has been shot in the shoulder. While they treat his wound, their getaway driver begins changing her clothes right there, catching Parker's attention. However, before anyone can react, Zen suddenly pulls out a gun and kills every member of Parker's crew one by one. Parker tries to escape but takes a bullet and falls into a river. Meanwhile, a man named Kincaid informs his boss, Mr. Lozini, that Parker was involved in the recent racetrack heist. Someone recognized his voice at the scene, and Lozini reacts sharply at the mention of Parker's name, saying he must now get involved. Kincaid advises against it, warning that whenever Lozini gets involved, there tends to be a lot of breakage. Lozini replies that as long as Parker stays out of New York, their deal still stands. The scene shifts to Parker, who wakes up in a motel room, injured but alive. When he asks for room 12, the motel owner tells him it is taken, so Parker throws out the guests, breaks through a wall, and retrieves his hidden belongings. From there, he heads to Philly's house. Philly's wife, Grace, greets him with concern and realizes her husband is gone when Parker remains silent. He tells her about Zen's betrayal, and Grace responds that Philly always admired Parker because he once took on the mob and survived. Parker clarifies that he did not take them on, he robbed them by mistake. Grace says that, either way, he is still alive. Parker asks for her help finding Zen, offering her Philly's share of the money, but Grace refuses, saying money is not everything and asking what he would do if he ever stopped stealing. Eventually, she gives him the name of a man named Reggie Riley who might help. In exchange, she asks Parker to kill Zen. Parker contacts his associate, Alan Grufield, and requests help locating Reggie. When he finds Reggie, the man nervously asks about his driver Jimmy, and Parker coldly replies that Jimmy is sleeping. Parker questions Reggie about Zen, and Reggie admits he met her only once or twice, explaining she was once part of a South American dictator's elite guard. Reggie reveals he just spoke with Zen recently, prompting Parker to realize they are being followed. Zen's men suddenly attack, ramming their car. In the chaos, Reggie is killed, and his driver briefly fights back before dying as well. Parker manages to shoot one thug in the leg and captures him to use as bait. Meanwhile, Zen meets with Busso, who provides her with the plan for her next heist. Zen tells him he is doing something noble, though Busso only wants his money because he knows she will kill him afterward. Before the deal concludes, Parker bursts in with his gun drawn and demands to know where his money is. Busso reaches for his weapon, and Parker shoots him. Zen becomes furious, saying she needed him alive since he financed their new job. Busso, still alive, fires at Zen, but Parker finishes him off. Parker demands details about the next heist, and Zen reveals that they were planning to rob a bank truck carrying $4 million. When Parker accuses her of lying, she explains the real target is far bigger, a sunken treasure called the Lady of Arentro, a 15th-century ship recently discovered near her homeland. The treasure is worth billions, but her country's corrupt president, Ignacio de Paz, plans to display it at the UN and then secretly steal it with help from the outfit, the same criminal organization Parker has clashed with before. Zen's true goal was to steal the treasure first to help her people. Meanwhile, Lozini and Kincaid discuss their ongoing plans, unaware Busso is dead. Lozini orders Kincaid to find him anyway. Later, Parker and Alan meet Zen's boss, Colonel Fabricio, who begins explaining the history of the ship, but Parker interrupts, demanding only the plan. He negotiates a 30% cut, $300 million, for his help. Fabricio explains that they are building a replica statue to swap with the real treasure during the heist. Parker says that stealing from the president's thieves is the real challenge, not covering it up. He proposes that they let the outfit steal it first, then take it from them afterward. Alan soon discovers that the outfit is indeed leading the president's operation, warning Parker that returning to New York breaks their old deal. Parker dismisses his concern, insisting he always survives. That night, Parker and Zen visit a club to meet Busso's boyfriend, Nick, who holds critical documents. Zen insists she can handle it, but Parker stays close, knowing her history of betrayal. When Parker reveals Busso is dead, Nick breaks down crying. At that moment, Kincaid's men arrive, firing into the club. Zen defends herself and Nick while Parker runs upstairs to Busso's room, where he searches through dozens of identical Mr. Bluey toys. Inside one, he finds the stolen plans, but then Kincaid appears. They fight, and Parker throws him off the balcony, landing on a police car below. Though Parker escapes, Kincaid survives with broken bones. When Lozini learns Parker was there, he regrets not stepping in earlier. Elsewhere, Parker gathers a new team and outlines his plan. The outfit will steal the treasure treasure using an underground metro system below the UN. The treasure will be loaded onto a refuse train that normally carries trash but will secretly transport the treasure straight to a dump where the outfit will retrieve it. Parker's crew must hijack the control center, take over the train, and increase its speed so it derails at a designated spot where they can seize the cargo. Parker assigns tasks carefully. Brenda and Ed will handle the control room, while Alan disables the safety mechanisms that would automatically brake the train. Parker warns that timing is everything. After leaving the meeting, Parker checks into a hotel, requesting room 12 again, but Zen is already there waiting. She pours him a drink and begins telling him the legend of the Lady of Arentro, a noblewoman who disguised herself as a knight to fight for her people. The story shaped Zen's life, and she asks Parker about his own past. He answers simply that he once stole something and got away with it. Before their conversation can continue, Zen's jealous associate Mateo attacks them. He captures Parker, ties him outside in the freezing snow, and drenches him with water, intending to let him die before the outfit arrives. Parker warns him that the outfit will not let any of them walk away, but Mateo refuses to listen. Suddenly, screams echo nearby, and Mateo, alarmed, frees Parker. Zen arrives, having tracked Mateo's phone, and they discover the attackers are outfit men. Parker saves Mateo's life during the fight, only to use him as a human shield moments later. Afterward, Parker picks up a phone from a fallen thug. Lozini is on the line, furious. He reminds Parker of their deal to stay out of New York and threatens to kill him, revealing he knows everything about the new heist. The plan, Lozina says, is already in motion. Parker rushes to alert his crew, but they are all drunk and unprepared. Alan scrambles to gather them as the heist begins prematurely. Ed and Brenda infiltrate the control center, posing as employees investigating a problem. They neutralize the outfit's man inside and seize control of the system. However, they quickly realize the manual Parker gave them does not match the actual controls. With the help of a technician, they manage to accelerate the train. Meanwhile, Alan struggles to disable the first failsafe and barely survives the speeding train as it roars past. When the train fails to derail at the expected turn, Parker orders them to increase speed toward the next curve. Alan races to destroy the second failsafe and shoots the switch just in time. The train derails violently, but the treasure boxes are filled with rocks. It was all a trap by Lozini to capture Parker. The outfit's men arrive, followed by police, leading to a chaotic firefight. Parker's crew escapes with difficulty. The next morning, news reports cover the disaster, and Zen prepares to return home, saying she must tell her people the truth. Parker then tells her his childhood story about getting revenge on bullies when he was 8. The lesson is simple. He always has a plan. Encouraged, he proposes a new one, to track down the real figurehead of the Lady of Arentro, which is worth $500 million. His team is skeptical, especially when Alan learns Parker lied about Kincaid recognizing him. Still, Parker insists they can find the buyer through Kincaid. They disguise themselves as police officers, break into Kincaid's apartment, and interrogate him about the figurehead's buyer. Terrified, Kincaid faints, and his caretaker reveals the buyer is a wealthy collector named Phineas Paul. Parker tracks him to a restaurant, kidnaps him, and demands to know where the figurehead is kept. Phineas explains that it lies inside a high-security vault with a tungsten carbon alloy cage that only unlocks automatically at 8 in the morning. Zen finds the vault's location, and the team sets off. They infiltrate the facility, knock out guards, and reach the vault while Phineas escapes and warns Lozini. Lozini rushes to the vault as Parker and Alan blow the door open. By the time Lozini's men arrive, Parker already has the statue, and a fierce chase begins through the city. During the pursuit, the statue loosens from the vehicle, and Parker falls. Zen rescues him, but Lozini's men seize the statue. When Lozini delivers it to Phineas, the collector realizes it is fake. President DePaz calls Lozini furious, revealing he has been betrayed. Parker had switched the vault numbers to mislead everyone and had taken the real statue from another chamber. When Lozini corners him, Parker detonates explosives, destroying the statue and the outfit. As Lozini dies, Parker tells him that he was never alone. Afterward, Parker gives his team the diamonds salvaged from the explosion, covering their expenses. Finally, he visits Zen, who is watching the news announcing that the president's corruption has been exposed and part of the treasure recovered. Zen thanks Parker and invites him to her homeland, but Parker remembers that she killed his friend Philly. He says he once felt the same connection she did, then shoots her. Later, he gives Philly's widow a few diamonds, saying it is Philly's share, and walks away as the story comes to an end.